Hello guys, today we'll try to understand SDFS high availability. Why we are talking about the high availability. So previous slide we talked about we are storing maybe terabyte and petabyte of data, and we have to take some insight on that data so we can add a business value. So it depends industry to industry. So let's say if we are talking about the retail industry, we want to maybe inventory forecasting through the data, or maybe we want to remove the supply chain issues to analyzing this data. So different use cases can come. If you are talking about the healthcare system, maybe the data is very important for the patient. That's where we are talking about the data set. If you are talking about the manufacturing, maybe we are looking some kind of parts immediately, so we can fix the let's say maybe truck or maybe car in on time. So that is the whole idea to doing the data analysis, where we can get some value out of that, including the reporting. So think this way: if the environment is not up and ready, and a lot of in a organization analyst or who are using this data, if they want to query, the data is not there, so we cannot get a value. So lot of manpower hours we are losing, and that is directly translating our dollar value. So we have to make sure in any organization, whether it's a website or maybe any environment, in think high availability needs to be available all the time. So that's where high availability concept comes in picture. So let's understand in SDFS what is the high availability. Let's go into next slide. If you see this architecture, before discussing on this architecture, right? So let's talk about the Hadoop different versions. So we have Hadoop initially, Hadoop 1.0. So Hadoop 1.0, one of the drawback was that they have only one node. If you see active name node or name node. So if you see the Hadoop architecture, we have name node, and then we have master slave architecture, we have data nodes. So if you have single name node, so there is a high chance of failure. Let's say some network, due to some network issue, or maybe something happens on the machine, it got crashed. Then what will happen? We cannot give this data out for the business value. Then this cluster not in active mode. So that can be a failure scenario, or maybe let's say we are going some kind of maintenance in future. During the maintenance, we put a downtime. So that time we cannot collect real-time data or the required data. So this is a problem. So if you go to next version, Hadoop 2.0 and 3.0, so what they told, right? We can have more than one name node. And name node we can work as an active passive mode. If you see this diagram, we have one active, another the passive name node or standby name node. So what is the concept of that? So basically what we are saying that for the business purpose, let's say active name node, which is storing all the metadata information, which is connecting with the data nodes, it is serving the business value. If some circumstance happens where maybe hardware failure or maybe maintenance, in that time what will happen, the whole workload will shift to the standby node. Then standby node will become a primary name node, and it will connect with the data node, and it will serve a business purpose. So how it works in active passive mode? So that let's say active name node, it will write its information, whatever update are happening, metadata information or whatever updates are happening, it will put in the shared file location, that information. And active name node will have the write permission on these edits and read permission. So standby node will look that file. If there is any update is happening, it will sync the data with the standby name node. So basically what will happen, it will work as a sync mechanism. As long as there is update is happening on the shared edit, it is going to update the standby name node. And standby name node will have heartbeat, that is going to listen whether active name node is active or not. So let's say scenario comes where active name node is going down. So what it will do, standby name node will make sure that all this syncing is happening properly. As soon as the sync happens properly, it will act as a active name node, and all the heartbeat through the data node will transfer here. It is already, there is a heartbeat in between there. So data node will know that, okay, this is the our main name node, and they will start working through this name node. So one thing also, make sure that this journal node, right, we are talking about the shared file, it can also have multiple journal nodes. So this is also gives a high availability. That is we also need to have a understanding. So if you see the zookeeper, it is helping to make sure that both active and standby name node, they are in connected to the heartbeat, and they are controlling all these information. So they if timely standby name node will know whether active node is down or not. So that kind of configuration it works. So this is the how your active passive mode is working. One more thing, one important thing is that you we can go beyond 2 to 5 name node, but make sure that we are not going very large number of name node. Again, depends on the cluster configuration, your workload. So let's say you have 1000 machines in your cluster, or maybe a 2000 machine. Maybe you can consider more than two name node, but don't go as per in industry standard, don't go more than 5 or 6 kind of name node. So I hope this is giving you idea how active and passive mode are working, and they are giving the high availability in the SDFS. Now, couple of things we have to make sure once we are creating this high availability kind of environment. Make sure that both active and passive node have the same kind of configuration. Once we say same kind of configuration, kind of machine, right, equivalent, they have the hardware capability, whatever active node, same kind of capability needs to be the standby node. So that we have to make sure. Second, what we have to make sure that that especially the shared location needs to be robust, and it is need to be high quality shared location. So that also we have to make sure. So these are the thing when we are configuring this kind of high availability environment. So I hope you got the idea, right? What is the how the high availability we can achieve in SDFS using the active passive mode, and that is the feature we can leverage, and we can create a good environment which can help the business. So coming on the administrative part, how to configure, right? What are the parameters you have to configure? So there is one link you can go. This is the official link of the Apache. Here you can see all the configuration detail. Let's say you want to do some configuration changes on the configuration detail. You can put that in SDFS site.xml. Let's say how many name node you are taking, right? All these kind of entry will be there. Same way you have failover kind of detail. You can put in SDFS site.xml. And if you're talking about securing access to zookeeper, that core site.xml you have to update. All these configuration parameter you can see from here. In your organization, who is the admin, right, they will make sure that all these configuration are configured properly. And once they are starting creating high availability, they have to look the data set, how big data set they are handling, and what is the projection next 5 year. Based on that, they can start creating their cluster, and that way we can configure high available SDFS into the ecosystem. I hope this will give some idea on the SDFS high availability. Thank you for watching.